Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out. All right, let's reset. You're checking out Weekend at Gabe's with One Weekend Gabe, The Real Sam Crane. We're doing Sports Week, so check us out and follow us on the socials at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, at The Real Sam Crane. My heart was broken yesterday. I did not spend dollars to go see it in person as I could have, but instead I watched it from the comfort of my home. Was it yesterday? Or was it 2 days ago? It was 2 days ago.
2 days
It
ago.
felt like yesterday. Yep. Yeah. But I watched it from the comfort of my own home, and I don't regret not going. But someone who was there to witness it in all its pain and agony from the Bigs, Terrence Tomlin, joining us here on Weekend at Gabe. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing real good, bro. How are you doing? It's been too long since I've been able to talk with you, man. I'm happy to see you.
I know, man. I think it was like we had Gene on to talk about the baseball stuff earlier in the year when they were using the sticky stuff. But yeah, we haven't had you on in a while, so I'm glad you can give us some of your time. We're not talking about sticky stuff. We're just talking about pain and agony. The White Sox.
It could get a little sticky.
Yeah, just a little bit.
My White Sox go down in ALDS to the hated and cheating Houston Astros 3-1. It was a really great season. Obviously, from the jump, the real decision to bring back Tony La Russa, already a controversial pick. It turned out to not really result in any plus from Ricky Renteria's era. But we still, had a great season nonetheless, dealing with a lot of injuries. Just to sort of recap this year, what are some things that you saw from the White Sox and just as an organizational standpoint that makes you feel great about moving into the future? I know they have a great core of young players locked up 5-6 future, so they did all their math and got their numbers right. So they're still missing some key components. But what stood out to you this year that makes you feel really good about them?
Bro, you touched on it, man. Talking about all the injuries that, this team had to manage this season. The heart of this team is still, my favorite part of it. When Ricky Renteria was here, you talked about Ricky's guys don't quit. That bled over into La Russa's tenure, and then they showed you throughout the season that they can basically win the AL Central with one arm tied behind their back, man. And if you would have told me that a team that lost Eloy and Luis Robert in the first 60 days, that they would win 93 games, I would have told you was lying. At least 80, 85. But throughout the regular season, I called it they continuously poured out a little liquor and kept it going for the homies, man. They lose Eloy before game one. And then you have our boy Yermin Mercedes come in and basically carry the team for the first month and a half, which is as nobody could have thought of that. Honestly, in my opinion, I talked about it with my brother Sean Davis, that Yermin is a candidate for MVP for the way he was able to keep this team afloat in the beginning of the season. You look at the pitching staff throughout the regular season, and we'll talk about it in a second in the playoffs because it was a different story for those guys. But during the regular season, the starting rotation carried these guys. Lance Lynn was a Cy Young candidate. He was an all-star. Lucas Giolito, although he wasn't his ace, he wasn't the ace that we saw him be the year before. He still came and showed that he could get a win when maybe the L started to pile up. But I still, you look at how this season ended, bro. And I've been dealing with the fan base a little bit over the last 48 hours. I don't want you guys to overreact because, bro, like you said, it's been an amazing season as far as what they were able to do given the circumstances. They won the AL Central, and they weren't able to do that last season. They really extended a playoff series that they had no business extending and brought, a playoff series back home to Chicago. And now can they build on that? And can this core continue to get better? And really, my favorite thing about this season, I feel like the most important thing about this season is that they ended it in one piece. You know, they were able to put Humpty Dumpty back together right before the playoffs started, and ended the season with everybody going into the winter healthy. Hopefully, to have very, very progressive off seasons that lead into a great spring. But bro, like you said, their flaws were definitely on full display. And now that the ball is back in Rick Hahns and Kenny Williams' court, it's about making sure that this is still the beginning of their story and not the end. That's my biggest. That's the mission.
Absolutely. And as a Cubs fan, I said from the beginning of the year that y'all really gave me 2015 Cubs vibes. I didn't feel like this was going to be all year, but I definitely feel like the retool is coming, and y'all going to be back on top very, very soon. But that brings me to my next question, which is what would you like to see retooled next season? I'm going to be laughing all the way to the bank on that Craig Kimbrell trade. But what else would you like to see change coming into 2022?
Man, starting with Craig Kimbrell, I think that they've already kind of showed their hand a little bit. They have their options, whether it's through trade or through free agency. Not only do I feel like this is a prime destination for free agents, whether they be American players or international players. The White Sox already have some international players that they're going to be adding to the roster next season. But I think you're looking at how versatile your players are. Can Yoan move back over to second base? Can maybe Tim go over to second base if you want to bring a guy like Corey Seager over? Mm-hmm. If you want to bring a guy like Chris Bryant over, to add some left-handed bats to this lineup.
Hey, I'm gonna be very honest with you. You don't want KB. You don't want him.
Why would the White Sox not want Chris Bryant?
I don't know. Something about that bat just wasn't popping off like he used to.
You know what? He being around the Cubs for as long as I have been, I feel like Chris Bryant is a great clubhouse guy. He would come in and kind of add some championship experience to this lineup, which you saw against the Astros. They need. Again, Corey Seager, the same kind of addition to the equation, he would be. But then you look at this pitcher staff, man, you say, okay, I know that they're going to transition Michael Kopech over into the starting rotation. They may go ahead and move Garrett Crochet over. But is that going to be enough? Dallas Keuchel, you thought you were going to get one more year out of him as far as, production. That wasn't the case. And then when you look at Lance Lynn and how he kind of got bullied in the playoffs, you wonder, is he that ace of a staff that you thought maybe he could have been at the midway point of this season? You're definitely looking at Michael Kopech, though, as the guy that they're going to prop up as their ace. I feel like it's essential. The fact that they didn't pitch him in game 2 of that series with Houston really made me scratch my head, Gabe, because I'm like, okay, if you are conditioning this guy to be the bullpen arm that you conditioned him to be and not the starter for this year, then why isn't he coming out the pen? Why isn't he your first arm? That was a little hair scratching to me. But I'm looking at right field, and I'm wondering if Andrew Vaughn could be that everyday right fielder that they wanted Adam Engel to be, but honestly, in my opinion, he's not. Whether it be because of injury or whatever, but Andrew Vaughn shows you that he's the athlete that can handle doing that every day. And then the bat, you want Andrew's bat in your lineup every day. So Gabe, I feel like this team has a great opportunity, man, to get a lot better. They've gotten better every year, and I see no reason why that trend is stopping. I'm just excited about these guys ending the year healthy. We spent 162 games wondering if this team was going to be healthy, and unfortunately, the season is over, but they're healthy. They're healthy, man, and I still don't think this is a team that moving forward the league wants to see. I thought the Astros really took this team serious. and it's because they knew that if they were asleep, the White Sox had some aspects to their game that could have got them to the next round. It just so happens that the Astros are the machine of the American League right now. You're talking about 5 straight American League Championship Series. It's just really kind of unheard of in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Well, when you cheat, it's pretty easy to do that. I'm being
get your digs in, Gabe. Get your digs in.
Yes.
a little bit bitter. Let's talk about Tony La Russa, who was probably the biggest addition to this team. Obviously, a lot of people had some reservations about him being able to conform to a young team like with Anderson, and he wasn't a big fan of the bat flipping, but that really didn't turn out to be an issue at all. Even the Mercedes Yermez incident in Minnesota with him teeing off on a pitcher on an infielder who was relieving as a pitcher, that didn't turn out to be as big of an incident as well. But it still feels like there was enough issues or enough concern with Tony during the middle of the season. He didn't know the extra innings rules. He kind of flopped around with the pitching and rotation with the long relief. And so it felt like he lost us some games, but he ended up getting it together during those injuries. So how would you grade Tony La Russa in 2021? Like B, C, A for a Hall of Fame manager? What would you give him?
I smell an F coming.
You know what? But I feel like the grade that I'm going to give him is equivalent to maybe a D- on F. It's not a D- on F, but I'd give him a C.
Mm.
And it's because I feel like although he wasn't an issue in the clubhouse, Tim Anderson said as much in his post-game or his postseason wrap-up press conference today. I don't know if the game is played the same way Tony wants it to be played. Maybe the game has passed him up as far as style and the way that it's played. You look at the Astros approach on offense, and it was very situational. So it's okay. Now I want to, let's hang back on that breaking ball so I can bounce it up the middle. The White Sox looked like they were going for broke every single swing. And I feel like that's when you look at the manager and say, well, what is the identity of this team? And I'm wondering if Tony is maybe he doesn't affect them in a negative way, but I wonder if he can help them be better. Like the ways that they were able to improve. I don't know if Tony La Russa had anything to do with them. And that's my I feel like that's my biggest thing with Tony. Although I don't feel he hurts his team because the locker room is tight. I don't know how much he helps the guys either. And I feel like in his exit interview, if he has one, he's kind of Teflon. But if he has an interview, exit interview with Rick Hahn, I feel like that's one of the questions that Rick Hahn is wondering. It's like, okay, Tony, in what ways do you feel like you helped the squad this year? Because when it came to the postseason, we talked about, managing the bullpen, and that's, the mismanagement of it is why they got rid of Rick Renteria. It didn't look like it was much different, over this last week. But, from the players, and of course, the players aren't going to come out and bash their manager. I feel like they all expressed that the reason why they, a lot of the free agents came, Lance Lynn, is because they wanted to play for Tony La Russa. And Tony mentioned that one of his things is that he asked the players, if you guys want me back. And I feel like when
which is always a good question to ask.
It's always a good question.
A man who's securing his job asks that question every day. Imagine if the teacher walked into third grade and he was like, hey guys, I know it's just a Tuesday of third grade, but do you guys want me as your third grade teacher? Because we could get literally anybody to do this.
We can get anybody to do this. It's like one of those, do you still love me? Do you still love me? And I feel like that'll be an interesting conversation to have behind closed doors. But of course, to us, Tony La Russa has gotten nothing but rave reviews from the players all year.
It always looked like.
Oh, go ahead, Gabe.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Gabe.
It always looked like he was about to fall asleep. Anytime they pan to him, it's just like Jesus. Like in these extra inning, 10, 11 o'clock games, I just felt bad for him. But anyways, go ahead.
It was a stretch where I think Tony had hit a wall. You know what I mean? He PR wasn't making him available after the games. But, you got man was 80 plus. So it's some of the requirements of of being a manager in baseball. You got to see how tired he was. Yeah, some of those games he definitely looked dead tired after those games. But guess what? I was dead tired after some of those games. I couldn't be mad at Tony.
I want to pivot our attention a little bit and talk about the teams that are still in the competition. Who's your pick for the World Series? And does anybody want to play the Red Sox right now?
You know what? The Red Sox have played some really good baseball all season. They had that COVID situation that kind of slowed them down, but you see they've bounced back from that and got rid of the Yankees in the wild card, got rid of the team that a lot of people thought would be back in the World Series in the Tampa Bay Rays. And now they have an Astros team where I feel like you get a little bit of a rival. You're going to get a gritty series between these two teams. You know their history. They were involved in the scandal. And so I know that this is going to be fun. I don't know if anybody, and I know the Dodgers are in Game 5. Y'all may have to update me on what's going on.
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do some research right fast.
I don't think anybody wants to see that Dodgers team still.
Yeah, to be fair, it is a tie game in the third, but a lot of my LA friends are very excited about the Dodgers. And to be fair, when they get excited, it's usually for good reason.
Absolutely, man. Look, the Dodgers, after years of kind of knocking on the door, brought Mookie over there and figured it all out. And if they advance, I'm pretty much tagging along with the Dodgers, even though after watching this Astros team, and I admit this, I haven't kept an eye on them a lot before now. And maybe I kind of slept on how good they were. But man, for a baseball fan, that is a very talented and exciting team to watch. And I feel like when White Sox game, when you watch the Astros versus the Red Sox, I feel like you're going to see that this is just one of those elite teams. Like the Red Sox pitching is awesome, but the Astros are going to hit them the same way they hit the White Sox in their pitching. That's just how good they are on offense.
Right. So you have the Dodgers, Red Sox. Is that what you're shooting for?
Put me on the record as Dodgers, Astros, because there's no way. There's no way I'm saying that the White Sox lost to a team that's not going to the World Series.
Word.
So yes, the White Sox lost to a team that's going to be representing the AL.
I want the Mookie series and then Mookie comes back and just blasts the Red Sox and then just sticks that knife right a little bit deeper in.
I got my fingers crossed. If it wasn't going to be the White Sox, I wanted that Dodgers Astros series. I know that a lot of people in the league feel like the Astros need some straightening. But at the same time, the Astros are out to show everybody that they're not messing around and that they're legit. So it should be a fun one.
Yeah. And really quick before we let you go, tell me something positive about my Cubbies. What is worth getting excited about over there? Because we are entering nuclear winter, and I'm gonna need just a nugget of positivity.
I'm the wrong person to talk about that because the best thing about the Cubs right now is that they play the White Sox 2 times a year. And honestly, and I'm speaking, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't believe the Cubs are going to have a big offseason. I know that Jed has been in.
Oh, they pump faking. They pump faking us for sure. No Cubs fan feels like it's coming. Yeah,
it's a big pump fake right now. I feel like Cubs fans really have to understand that this is the very beginning of another rebuild, and the goal isn't to get it all back in one season. You know what I mean? I hear Carlos Correa's name, and sometimes I just ask Cubs fans, do you know the Yankees got money too? You know what I mean? And even if you're talking about up and coming teams, you look at the Detroit Tigers, and they brought AJ Hinch over for a reason. The White Sox played them at the end of the season, and I was telling people, I'm like, hey, the Tigers ain't gonna be down for long. They got some players over there, and you add a Carlos Correa to the mix over there, and you got something. But as far as the Cubs, bro, I really feel like they have to decide if they're done cleaning house. What are you gonna do with Wilson Contreras? What are you gonna do with Kyle Hendricks? And I know Jason Hayward is there to stay, but he can't come back as your everyday right fielder, Kenny. You know what I mean? It's a few things that the Cubs have to do before we start to talk about fans being happy, because I mean, you guys are gonna hate this. It's like, well, what's Mr. P? Hey, what's the forecast? Pain. Okay. So but at that same time, you still got Wrigley Field. You know, you're still the Cubs, but those are bargaining chips that, I mean, honestly, no team can match that. So, if Jed has his pitch ready, if they do want to get active in the free agency market, like he said, I know you said he's pump faking, but if he really does want to get active, they may be able to net them a big fish. But from hearing Carlos Correa talk, he really likes winning. And yes, he want to get, of course, somebody's going to pay him. But I feel like winning really matters to this batch of free agents that are out there. And I felt, hey, it's time to dig in that farm. We got our boy Ed Howard down there, Nick Madrigal, you guys brought over there. And I feel like that's another guy you guys are really going to like. So there it is. I mean, the young pieces that I feel like are going to come up a little bit quicker than you guys may have thought. You guys are going to see what you guys have pretty quickly. And then we start to talk about if the free agency or the trade market is how they want to build this team.
Right.
But for next season, I got a towel and a coat. We're going to need it.
Pain is the word. Pain is the word.
Yes.
I like how the highlight is you have Wrigleyville and a stadium. Enjoy.
Yeah. I'm glad you feel me, Gabe. I was digging deep for you, bro. I was digging deep.
There you go. You always got the stadium and the ambiance of Wrigleyville. That's what you always can count on that. And you can always count on Terrence Tomlin and Eugene McIntosh to bring you the realness and the bigs. You guys are gonna shift over to basketball soon, right?
Absolutely. We are looking forward to getting on the Bulls beat, jumping right back into that. But we're digging into the high school scene as well. So the basketball season is about to get started as the football season wraps up.
Right.
We're looking forward to jumping back into both of those. And of course, we have our boy Herb Howard on the Bears beat. So all you Justin Fields fans out there, and I heard my boy Ken Davis say the Super Bowl ain't a possibility this year. But of course, the future's bright over there. So definitely stay locked into the bigs for coverage of every beat in Chicago.
Absolutely.
I still need some bigs merch. I need the Letterman jacket still. I'm waiting for that. You guys can stick that in the mail whenever you're ready.
Gabe, I got a little exclusive for you. We're meeting with that team in a couple of days to get that back off the ground. So Letterman's jacket's on the way soon.
Ooh, a weekend of Gabe's exclusive. We love that on this show right now.
Yeah, let them know.
Love it. Love it.
All right, Terrence, thank you so much. Let's let you cut you loose and let you go enjoy the rest of your evening. A lot of baseball and football to watch on this Thursday nights. Thank you again for giving us your time. Tell people where they can follow you on these socials and also where they can get more in tune to what the bigs are up to.
Definitely, man. Follow us on all social media platforms at It's the Bigs. Follow me personally at Tomlin Doesn't on Twitter. We keep you informed on all things Chicago sports, plus more, man. And, Eugene, of course, he says, what's up? We're going to keep grinding, Gabe. We appreciate you showing us love.
Man, appreciate you guys as always. If you guys are ever recruiting and you just need someone to just tag along, I'll be your videographer. But whatever it takes to get in the building, I'll be that.
Gabe, you're at the top of my list, so it's all good.
I have no shame in this. All right, T, thank you so much, man. We'll talk to you soon as the season progresses. We'll try to get you on to talk Bulls talk.
Love.
I appreciate it. All right, Terrence Tomlin joining us. Welcome to Weekend at Games, and that concludes Sports Week. It was fun, insightful. If you're a Chicago fan, you got every insight to what is going on in the city of wind. It was a lot of information, but super fun, and every guest was equally as exciting. So I'm glad we did this, but I don't think we're going to revisit this for a while. I'm ready to move on to talking to rappers.
Our whole fan base is like, but what about music though? You know, we've curated this fan base of artsy people who really like in-depth connection with their favorite artists, and we gave them nothing but Devin Hester jerseys and Bulls talk all week, baby. But you know what? We love what we do here on Weekend at Gabe's.
We made it work, baby. We made it do what it do, baby. Like Ray Charles says.
And next week, we have a very, very special week planned. And tell them what they got going on, Gabe.
We got no, it's not the return. It's the first time we're doing this. We got Art Week going down. Artists from the country doing all types of cool designs. Some of them have exhibits. Some of them are just on the internet doing cool stuff. But it's going to be a bunch of diverse people joining us to talk about the cool stuff that they do. We'll put a promo up over the weekend, which I think I already have it in my mind, and it's going to look funny as hell when it comes out. If you watch the Sports Week one and people who enjoyed that, this next one is going to be phenomenally ignorant as well. So I'm looking forward to Art Week next week, the return of that. So, I really appreciate that. Sam did a great job of putting that together. We have some Chicago voices. What are some other cities that people are checking in from? I know we got
well, first we've got Jenica on Monday. That's a Chicago artist. Am I right, Gabe?
Yep. She got the watercolor exhibit. Talk about that. It's about 1 week left in that, so we'll preview it so that people can go out there and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that. We'll get up with Chicago photographer KO Did That, who has been shooting absolutely everybody and anybody around the city of Chicago. He is hosting studio hours, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then on Thursday, we are back with Haley Roden, who spent this summer creating art installations on the L. Using flowers in very interesting ways, giving flowers to strangers, lots of feel-good feelings there on Thursday night. And then we catch up with Kate White, all the way from San Francisco coming in. She is a painter by trade. She has her own artworks and art exhibitions, but she also hosts Bob Ross style Teach You How to Paint classes. So maybe we can pick up some tips there, Gabe, on how to become better artists.
Listen, I'll get the easel and we can do it together and then just see how awful I am at drawing and following instructions.
See, I'm more of an abstract sort of guy, color outside the lines. That's me.
Either way, and I think it's I think it's 3 women and 1 male, right? So I think we got
This is a nice little
great
balance
female voices. Fantastic, I love it. All right, appreciate that. So we'll be back at Tuesday night, right back here on Weekend at Games. Thanks for everyone who checked out Sports Week this week. If you missed our interview with Cheryl, the Super Hall of Fame, she's in my Hall of Fame, but not the Sports Hall of Fame. But she should definitely be in some sort of Hall of Fame. Cheryl Ray Stout, check out our YouTube channel, and you can check that interview out. Tons of insight on the WNBA Finals and the upcoming Chicago Bulls season. And if you missed any of our conversation tonight with Ken Davis from NBC Sports Chicago about the fantasy football and Chicago Bears, he did a great insight about that. And Terrence Tomlin from the Bigs covering and wrapping up the Chicago White Sox season and giving Sam a little bit of hope for the upcoming Chicago Cubs season next year. A little bit. All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Don't forget to follow us on these socials at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe, and the Real Sam Crane. And don't forget to share, support, and show love. The 3 things that you need in life. Otherwise, we are out for the weekend. Go see a movie. Support film industry. Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.